The koalas of Australia are one of this planet's most unique and lovable animals. They are not bears, as some people think, but are members of the marsupial family, and in common with a lot of Australian wildlife, the mothers carry their young in a pouch. They are most gentle creatures and just want to be left alone to eat, sleep and live their lives in the topmost branches of eucalyptus trees, whose leaves are their sole source of food. They sometimes have to share their treetops with the fruit bats, who are more equipped to handle the weather with their built-in rain capes. The poor old koalas have to take whatever the elements fling at them. They were once widespread across this island continent, but the colonisation by the white man saw their numbers decimated when they were hunted ruthlessly for their skins. Now there are only a few remaining in the wild, and those that are left are increasingly in danger through loss of habitat due to urban sprawl. Other members of the Australian wildlife family have been more adaptable and have found new ways to vary their diet. The koala, with its highly specialised diet, however, is being wiped out by the relentless march of the suburbs, which brings with it dogs and speeding cars, both major enemies of the koalas. With warning signs being mostly ignored, motorists contribute heavily to the death toll. A slow koala is no match for a speeding car, or a savage dog, or worse, a raging bushfire. Most of the fires are not a natural occurrence, but are the work of arsonists and take a terrible toll of the defenceless koalas. At Port Macquarie, a city noted for its sand, surf and sun on Australia's east coast, some dedicated people are trying to do something about the plight of the koalas and have set up a koala hospital to treat the sick and the injured. Koalas come in here with horrific injuries. Bushfires do tremendous damage, and it is only through the dedication of the staff and the toughness of the koalas that many do manage to survive. As well as dog attacks and hits by cars, koalas have a new problem with the disease chlamydia.
At the moment we are conducting trials with the University of Sydney. We're hoping to slowly develop a drug which will enable us to treat chlamydia. Lone Pine Sanctuary up in Queensland, they've developed a medication, but it's an inoculation. So you can't go around inoculating all the wild koalas. A, you can't find them, and B, you can't get them. But they hope as a result of that they can find some way of using this on those that are infected with chlamydia.
The hospital is staffed by mostly volunteers who give of their time in order to save as many koalas as they can, with the aim of returning them to the wild once their injuries have healed. Young joeys that are rescued from their dead mother's pouch require almost 24-hour care, while the adult koalas are fed twice a day with a special formula that contains nutrients and medication that they require to recover. This patient is suffering from the crippling disease scoliosis and finds it difficult to move, although it does eventually make the effort. The hospital receives no funding from either the state or federal governments and depends on donations from a caring public to survive. Although it has had its share of failures, it has also had its successes, and many injured koalas have been healed and returned to the wild. To further increase the chances of survival of the species, a koala breeding centre has been set up just outside the city in an attempt to increase the numbers of these vulnerable marsupials. For a small admission price, one can see the successful results of this program. Fortunately, the normally sleepy koalas were very lively when we visited this day with our cameras. It is the low nutrient level in the eucalyptus leaves that gives the koalas so little energy and causes them to normally sleep for around 19 to 20 hours a day. To many humans, this would seem an ideal existence. The word koala is an Aboriginal word meaning little water. It was thought to mean no water and led to the belief that koalas drank no water at all. But studies have found that they do require a drink of water if the moisture content in the eucalyptus leaves drops below 60%. When the tiny joey is born, it is not much bigger than a pea, but it makes its way to the mother's pouch where it lives on its mother's milk for the first 6 months until it becomes more physically mature. This then gives it the ability to spend more and more time outside the mother's pouch for the next 6 months, usually travelling on its mother's back. The female has 2 teats but mostly has only 1 baby a year. Unlike the kangaroo family, the koalas have a rear-facing pouch which the mothers are able to close with a drawstring-like muscle at will. Another interesting fact about the koalas is that they have 2 thumbs, which helps them climb the very high eucalyptus trees. It's tough being a little koala. Everything is just out of reach. To a koala, the very top of a eucalyptus tree represents safety until the next bulldozer or the next bushfire happens to come along.